Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to talk about my experience with minimalizing and eliminating unnecessary things from my life. First, I think that it's important to get across the point that I have definitely not always felt the way I do today about minimalism. In fact, prior to 2007, I never gave any thought at all to living with less. I, in the past, really was a hoarder. I wasn't a hoarder to the degree where I had so much stuff that, there was like pathways through the mountains of it in my house that you had to walk through, or there were mysterious, strange substances growing in dark corners or anything like that. But I had way too much stuff. I had so much stuff that it was difficult for me to keep organized. And I spent a lot of time reading about how to be organized, and I would go to the store and buy items and products that were supposed to help me be organized. And maybe I would sort of clean up the clutter and be organized for a very short period of time, but it never lasted. And then I would just start repeating the whole cycle again of starting to feel stressed about the clutter in my environment and dealing with it. And I was fed up with it. I was to the point where I was beginning to realize and really deeply assess the impact that all this stuff was having on me, and that it was really stressing me out. And it wasn't worth it. Most of the stuff was junk, and it was completely without value in my life. So in about the end of 2007 is when I really got going on this journey of mine to start reducing the amount of possessions that I had. And in the beginning, I never thought of it as minimizing or being a minimalist, and that wasn't my goal. And I didn't know that this terminology was applied to this idea of living with less and being less consumptive. I just knew how I felt, and I was sick of it, and I wanted to be able to be liberated from my attachment to things. And so I started getting rid of things, and I started out pretty slowly and in areas where it was easy for me to purge the items with things that I wasn't super attached to. And that went really well, and I started to notice positive feedback from that immediately. And so that inspired me to keep going, and I started to dig into things that I was more attached to. I had managed to amass certain collections of things. Stuff from my childhood I still had. I had things that I used to love to go to thrift stores, and it was sort of like a treasure hunt, and I would find certain things. I liked a lot of vintage items, and I had little collections going on of this stuff, and it was really nice stuff, and it had value in a sense. So I got on eBay and I started listing this stuff, and sometimes I would sit and hold like an object that I was thinking about getting rid of in my hands and debate with myself, have a debate about, I should get rid of this. It really has no value to me, and why am I hanging on to it? And then I would tell myself, well, I already spent the time and energy and effort and money and resources to acquire this thing, and now I'm going to get rid of it. And you kind of lay this guilt trip on yourself about that. But I kept my determination and kept my focus on my goal, which was to clear up space. And it took consistency in continuing to purge items over time and adopting an attitude of not reaccumulating things, and changing my entire outlook on consumerism and consumption. And then about a year, maybe a year and a half after I got started with this, I discovered websites and blogs on the internet with people referring to this idea of getting rid of things and having less as minimalism. And I started reading their blogs, and I was already pretty good. I didn't really need any tips about like how to go about the actual technical details of getting rid of things. But I was inspired by people who had already been through all this purging and been successful at it, and all of the positive effects in their life that they were having. I wanted that too, and I admired these people, and I admired their lifestyle. I admired the space that they surrounded themselves with, and the fact that they had so much more time to devote, not just time, but time and attention to devote to things that were more important to them. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to liberate myself from having my attention constantly pulled away from things that were more important to me, to all this, all the objects and stuff and things in my life. So it took me a long time. I mean, that was around 2007, and we're now in 2015, and I have probably, I would say, less than 1/8 of the things that I had in 2007. And I'm by no means one of these uber minimalists. There are some people on the internet who count their items and they have less than 100 things and they live out of a backpack. I'm not to that level. And I think that for everyone, your level of minimizing is different, depending on the lifestyle that you're leading. If you're just a traveling nomad person who works off of a laptop, then yeah, it makes sense that you would be able to reduce your possessions down to just what you carry around with you in a backpack. But if you're going to be living on a piece of land and homesteading, which is what I've been doing for the past several years, you're going to need a certain amount of tools and items in your life to help you achieve the goals and the things that you want to do in that lifestyle. Right now, Dave and I are in the process of changing our lifestyle. If you've been following along, you will know that we are selling our house and planning to move into an RV that we're fixing up. So obviously that gives us the opportunity to get rid of and purge a lot of these tools and accessories that fit our previous lifestyle of homesteading. We can get rid of those things because we're probably not going to need them while we're traveling around and living in an RV. And I'm pretty excited actually about that part of it, because it gives me an opportunity to experiment further with having less stuff. And so far, I have to say that I really am liking it. We've gotten rid of a tremendous amount more items that we had in preparation for this transition. And while the actual getting rid of it is never really, I don't know, I wouldn't really call it fun, and it is a lot of work. But once the stuff is gone, the sense of accomplishment and I don't know, it's just like a lightness feeling. It's really like a sense of relief that I feel is so worth it. I mean, it makes me want to do it more. So if you're on the fence about this, but it's something that you're kind of feeling compelled towards, and you think that maybe it would improve things for you to not have so much stuff in your life, I say go for it. I have had nothing but positive benefits from adopting a more minimalistic lifestyle. Just want to encourage people. I think all the time about doing this YouTube stuff, and it's good to kind of do the documentary, like what we're doing and moving into the RV and showing you things that we see as we go through life. But I also want to, it's such an opportunity to put forth messages that you want to see promoted out there in the world. And this idea of less consumerism, I think, is one of my favorite, most like strongly felt about things that I want to put out there and put my support behind, because I think it is the path to a better future for all of humanity on this planet. And that sounds really dramatic and everything, but it truly is, for so many reasons. And so that's, if I can promote something, I want to promote the idea of living a less consumptive life and a more minimalistic life. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.